Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's Friday evening. It is 10:30. Time for the late live stream. But first, as always, a little music. We are all the heirs to Scotland, as a nation proudly stand. We will march beneath her banners to protect our ancient land. In the glens and cities, there on every street, are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let a flag mean freedom and not a battle drum. To the world we bid a welcome in 1,000 different ways. We will toast to long lost friendships as we build our better days. In the glens and cities, there on every street, are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let our flag mean freedom and not a battle drum. We are all the heroes of Scotland. We're a nation hand in hand. We will march beneath her banners to protect our ancient land. In the glens and cities, there on every street, are the living heroes no army will defeat. Let our flag mean freedom and not a battle drum. Hi folks, thanks for showing up. I'm busy reading here what Sensum's saying. Good evening, Sensum, Skywalker, Scott's Armour, and Steve. Well, for a change, I've got. That's a dark island. I'm just this minute come in from sitting out tonight with my friend. He's away chasing his train to Glasgow, catch the last train from Glasgow. Whew. So we're getting a little bit on the cool side there. So here we are. we're here. And obviously, I have got nothing really planned. Wow. Catch my breath. Catch my breath. Well, it's been another nice day, of course. And we sat out the back. Smoked Cuban cigars. My friend drank some Highland Park whiskey. And I had a Dark Island. I didn't bother with the fire. I didn't really need it. So, when I gather myself, I'll think of something to say. Very good, Scott. I hadn't even thought of that. A Dark Island, that could be triggering to some, John. Very good. Gavin saying, I'll get a bottle of Highland Park. Should change it to be Inclusive Island. Oh, God, I know. And how are you enjoying Gay Pride Month so far? How come they got a month and we only got a day at Christmas? Or a day any other time? Who designated them a month? Yeah, themselves. People should avoid that like the plague, these parades. They really should. That'd be a good boycott. You could organise people into it. Space Hopper. Nice to see you around these parts again. Gavin. I got a bottle of wine, 16 little black pigs. Oops. That's the last time I had a beer was the last time my friend was here. And I can tell you one thing for certain. Gay pride did not enter our conversation at any moment, not even for a fraction of a moment did it. No, really. Your internet service has been broken for 5 weeks. That's a long time. Hi, Alpaca. I'm just shortly in the house. Just barely made it in time. My friend's away, rushing off to the station. Well, I wouldn't say that, Skywalker. No, I'm not. So everyone's getting pissed tonight. Didn't come prepared. It's only a drink I've had all night. We do a lot of talking. Special K, good evening. Special K, nice to have you here. Yeah. Oops. Sansom, did you hear that Gene spliced a clone of Sir Bruce Forsyth and Ray Charles? Apparently catch its catchphrase is nice to see you never. Nice to see you. Yeah. A great man for his catchphrases, or somebody was on his stuff. I always found him a bit of a pain in the butt, to be honest. He was one of those ones at the time that was saying, yeah, people should work longer. Look at me after all. Yeah, well, all he ever had to do was put on his dinner suit, learn his lines, and that was it. Not exactly doing a hard day's job. Do you know what the difference is between custard and creme? No, I don't know. Oh, about 15 quid. I tell you. Oh, there's David with us again. Oh, I'm glad you came back, David. You call me Scots. One of them is dead. Deed. Evening, everyone. Good evening, David. I hope that October turns up. I bought all the ingredients that he was talking about. I've got them here. So I hope he turns up. So I can get specific instructions on how to make this. Right. I bought them today. Ground ginger and thyme. There they are. Tesco specials. Ah, you're still on the hunt, are you, Skywalker? Actively looking for an acoustic today. No success as yet. Has to be the right one, absolutely. That's for sure. Gotta be. Good evening, Ragnarok Ironsphere. Morning for the Ayatollah and Woodlander. Stop streaming, cooking each other. No strings attached. Oh, sensum. Dear oh dear. So I hope he turns up. And I bought this tea. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of it. Loose tea. So I've got the ingredients. I just need to know how to put it together. How much of what in what order? Good evening, Anglo. Good evening, Linda. I'm just telling everyone as they come in that I am just shortly in. I come in at 20 past 10. Didn't realise what time it was. Well, it's something like that, Sensum. I've never made anything like this, so I'm hoping that he turns up to give me some guidance on how to put it together. He said it'll help this cough that I've now acquired. Oh, dear. It's joke time. You make a tea out of ginger and other ingredients, if I remember rightly. You don't have to add tea, but rather make a brew out of the ginger and thyme. Well, I bought the tea because October said that's what he did. So I bought this tea, loose tea, and the other ingredients, but I need some guidance about quantities. And once I've got that, then I can experiment myself to find out which one's the best for me. Good evening, Julia. Hang on, see what it says here. Storage. And just their address on it. So I don't know where it comes from. The letter, the other one will be the same, I expect. Suitable for vegans, it says. So I don't know. I don't know where they come from. The ingredients. Sensum, you need a nice, natural expedient. A finely chopped onion in an old jam jar. Add 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, leave overnight, and the liquor it produces makes a brilliant natural expedient. Well, I went ahead and bought these ingredients on the recommendation of October. I suppose I could fiddle around with it over the weekend and see what happens. It's not as if I can kill myself, really, is it? I mean, one of the things I'm not sure about, can you add anything to the final mix, like sugar? I don't know. Manuka honey. No, there's no honey in this that October was talking about. Sense of it's not a thing I keep in the house. It's honey, and I certainly don't keep loose tea. You can get good Manuka honey at both Lidl and Aldi at a fraction of the price of other stores. I'll try this first and see how I get on with this. Scots. Ingest a photo of sturgeon, your body will shrivel into a repulsive state and you will flush everything out in one go, mate. Yeah. That's a lot to stomach there, Scots. There's a lot there to stomach. Uh, anyway, it's just to show that I did take the advice, and we'll see if it makes any kind of improvement, which would be nice. I had it in my mind to play some music, but I don't know how you feel about some music. It is the weekend after all, and I was going to put on a few more tracks than I normally do. If that's okay with you folks, if you don't mind, I'll stick on we'll stick on a bit of music, shall we? Ah, ah. It's something. What will we put on? I don't know, we'll put that on. Yeah, something a bit different. Fiona Jane. I expect a rant this special K. Well, Fiona Jane, good evening. This is a new name on this channel. Where's Toffee? Toffee, come on. Is Toffee here? Oh, there he is up there. I never saw that. Hope you're all a great weekend. Yeah, well, and I'm telling people, Toffee, as they come on, I only came in the house at 20 past 10. Didn't realise how late it was. Well, anyway, I'll put this track on. See what you make of this. I hope you enjoy this.
Hey, what Sunday in Huntly Toon that's there I did agree with Bogie Cairn O'Kearney a 6-month 40 fee to work. His twa best horses likewise is Kert and Plew. And do a thing about farm work, that right wheel I can do. Now Bogie had a daughter, whose name was Isabel. The flower o' our nation, there's nane her could excel. She had rosy cheeks and ruby lips and hair o' darkish hue. She was neat, complete and handsome and comely for to view. One day she went a rambling and chose me for her guide, to take a pleasant walk with her along the Kearney side. I slipped my arm about her waist and to the ground did slide, and it's there I had my first braw night with the belle of Boggieside. Ere 20 weeks had passed and gone, this lass had lost her bloom. Her rosy cheeks grew pale and wan, and she began to swoon. Ere 40 weeks had passed and gone, this lass brought forth a son, and I was quickly sent for to see what could be done. Old Bogie heard the story and cried, I am undone. Since ye've beguiled my daughter, my sorrows are begun. I said, Old man, you're fairly right, and hung my head with shame. I'll marry Belle the morning, and gie the bairn my name. But though I said I'd wed the lass, oh no, that wouldn't do. You're nae a fitting match for Belle, nor she a match for thee. He send me packing down the road with no a penny o' my fee. See ye lads a Huntly Toon, a lang fareweel to ye. But noo she's married a tinker lad, whose name is Suitor John. He hawks his pans and ladles around the foggy loan. And maybe she's gotten a better match, old Bogie can't tell, but it's me what taking the maidenhood o' Bogie's bonny Belle.
An old Scottish poem. The music's mine, sent some, but the prose is an old Scottish poem. an old traditional poem. I wish I could say it was mine, but it isn't. The music is. And yes, Julia, my hair is long. I'm hoping to see to that next week. I'm glad you like it. And you as well, Parker. That's good to know. And Skywalker, it's good to know you enjoy these things. Toffee is busy telling us he's going to become a viewer again. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Amanda. What a perfect time to join the stream. Enjoyed the poem. So this other person, Fiona Jane, is an Aussie. Wow. All the way from Australia land. Wow. Amazing. That always amazes me. it's very much in Scottish tradition of poetry, telling a story that way, usually with a little twist in the tail. Obviously, that's the exploits of a young man, of course, but told in a very entertaining way, I think. Again, I want to thank you all for just simply being here, starting so late. The evening pressure drop. So yeah, it would seem that Fiona Jane is all the way from Australia. Amazing, eh? As I say, that always impresses me, people from abroad, and so a special case from Canada. My gosh, it's just amazing. It amazes me anyway, put it that way. There you go. And I have been meaning to say for a while now, Julia and Rory, although Rory is not here at this point, but I have received an email from Jodie Kay telling me that you're still in bed. And saying that she would like to come on the channel. So I wrote back to her and left it open to herself when she would like to come on, either Tuesday, Thursday, or the Friday stream. I haven't yet heard back from her. I'm sure she'll get back to me in time. If not, I can always give her a reminder. Julia saying, I didn't understand the Scottish accent until I came across this channel. Sounds as though you're cozy there, Linda. I'm getting a cuppa. stir up the fire and back to bed too. Sounds good. So I meant to report that earlier in the week. Does she not? Well, it's been a long communication thus far, let's be honest. But if she said she's coming on or she's willing to come on, I'm going to just take the lady at her word. Give Jodie Kay my number, John, says Toffee. "42's last stream put my Scottish to the test," says Linda, when DJ got excited. Well, what happens, of course, is he's speaking quicker and the words come together, and he's speaking close to, but not quite, his regional accent. So yeah, I can imagine there might be some confusion arising. But the strange thing about accents is that we all have them. And we all usually think that other people have got the strong accent when we don't realise that we've got strong accents ourselves because we don't hear ourselves with an accent. I just find that curious. Said some. I had Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse in my last stream. Wow, the two biggies, eh? Especially Bugs. Things got very animated. She can sleep, talk and deal with me anytime, that Jodie Kay says. Toffee. An Aussie mate of mine said he understood me, says Pressure Drop, until about the 6-pint mark. Well, that's what I'm saying. We've all got accents that we just don't hear our own accent, but we hear everyone else's. And I find that most peculiar. I mean, even Glaswegians sound different from where I am, and it's only 20 odd mile. Even Paisley buddies sound differently. And I should know, I lived there for a while. It's quite amazing. These regional accents, this diversity, this natural diversity that we've always had. I think some of our people need to be reminded that we were always diverse. Julia is saying that she speaks like a farmer. Whatever that means, I don't know. I mean, you talk to animals, Julia. Crazy, I tell you. Anyway, I don't know if I should Toffee, I sound like every homosexual scouser on earth, apparently. Fiona, my dad, who passed away now, bless him, was a Scot. PPLE found him very hard to understand. I don't know about the Iowa accent. Paisley is not the same as Glasgow accent. No, it is not. Nor is the Iowa accent. But they often get confused. Ah, there he is. Oh, I'm so pleased you're here, October. You think I didn't appreciate everyone else, but I bought all those ingredients. Right. There's the loose tea. Right. Right. Tesco's on, I'm afraid. Yep. And the ginger. So what I need from you, October, if you wouldn't mind, is take your time and type me out of. Was it not you that did that? That recommended this drink? I thought it was you. I'm sure it was you. I need some instructions on how to brew this. Now that I've got the ingredients. Oh, there's the Earl of Stair. I have an English public school accent myself, but I definitely consider myself Scottish. I really thought it was you, October. I'm busy saying, I hope October turns up. He can tell me how to mix this stuff. Oh, you think it was Ludwig? Oh, right. David is saying, got some similarities, Glasgow and Paisley, yeah, but still different, yes. Got family in Paisley. Well, that's where I met my late wife, Helen, when I went to Paisley to live. She was a buddy. My son is technically a buddy because he was born there. Linda has it. Well, I need some guidance as to how I should make this thing. Do I straightforwardly make this tea first and then add these ingredients to it and stew it? Is that how I do it? I was just convinced. Don't ask me why. I thought it was you that recommended this, but I'll take your word for it. It was Ludwig. It was Ludwig, says Julia. Okay. Well, if he doesn't turn up, If he doesn't turn up, I'll just try it and see what happens. Do an equal amount of the ginger and thyme, stew the tea, and I'll add some sugar. I can't imagine me drinking the stewed tea without some sugar added. Just add water, John, says Pressure Drop. I can do most UK accents apart from Welsh. I always end up sounding like an half ouncer when I try to do Welsh. Probably because I have no Welsh family or heritage or background. Perhaps you haven't heard the accent often enough, Sensor, to aid you in that. So you're giving me a slightly different way of making this. Cook the ginger for no longer than 20 minutes. Don't boil. Linda's saying, I think he meant fresh ingredients, but just the ginger and the leaves. Put a spoon of each in a mug, strain, and use honey to sweeten it. Alright, Sensim's agreeing with that. I shouldn't use sugar. Well, that means I'll need to get some honey then. Well, I don't want to waste the ingredients, obviously. And that was really good news there that Steve Cray left. He's away to get his camping gear all organised. Him and Packer, I assume, are going off probably tomorrow with the boys, which will be great. And if that is the case, and I know Packer's here, make sure you take some photographs that I can show and send me JPEGs, and I'll put them up. And see how much fun you all had. That would be nice if you can do that. I know you'll have your phones with you. Ah dear. Well, let's see what I've got in the memory hole of bookmarks. If I've got anything here that I haven't shown. Well, I have, but it's a bit long, so I won't bother with it. This is a song that I wrote a while back, and it caused a few stirs when I played it. for the first time. So this is a song about a Scotsman, a revolutionary communist who should be better known than he is. Oh, that's great, Paca. If you can get some photographs, obviously be careful when it comes to photographing the boys. Sad I have to say that. But yeah, it'd be nice just to have one or two photographs, let the folks see just how much of a community is being made through this software. Linda saying the recipe, Sensum said earlier, would be easy for you to get the ingredients and to make. Well, of course, I've already bought these ingredients. Change that. Fiona, a friend once told me, I really like your dad. He's always laughing and winking, but I can't understand a word he says. So anyway, here's the song. It is about a real live person that did a lot of good for working class people in Scotland, and has never got any real recognition because of his politics. But I think that's a huge mistake. I hope you enjoy the song.
In a world full of shadows, there are but a few. They light up our darkness for a moment or two. Too often they stumble or are broken by pain. One such a hero was John Maclean. A working class hero was Comrade Maclean. He rallied the people, he turned the Clyde red. He sidelined the clergy, declaring God dead. He lampooned the wealthy, spent time behind bars. But comrades, I tell you, they don't care who you are. In our hearts grows a hunger to know liberty. Who has the compass to show us the way? So often we stumble and think of self-gain. In our winter of darkness, we need John McLean. In our winter of darkness, we need Comrade McLean. He rallied the people, he turned the Clyde red. He sidelined the clergy, declaring God dead. He lampooned the wealthy, saved time behind bars. But comrades, I tell you, they don't care who you are. In my dreams, there's a future I'll never see, where the workers grow healthy, upright and free. They'll never stumble or turn to self-gain. In a world with no shadows, there'll be John McLean. In a world with no shadows, there'll be Comrade McLean. He rallied the people, he turned the Clyde red. He sidelined the clergy, declaring God dead. He lampooned the wealthy, saved time behind bars. But comrades, I tell you, they don't care who you are. They don't care who you are.
He set up working class night classes where he taught very basic economics and political theory, no doubt, and didn't charge any money for it. He could hold an audience in George Square up to 5,000 people every week. He visited all over Scotland. He was a school teacher by trade, and when the school was closed, he would walk his way all around Scotland, politicizing the people in socialism. And it was his organizational skills that put together. Yeah, I noticed I was muted, Toffee. Thanks. Yeah, I know. Thanks, folks. Silly me. So yeah, I mean, he did a lot of good, real down to earth good things for real Scottish working class people. And he's never had the recognition that he deserves. Not for his politics. He was actually jailed because he He encouraged working class men not to go off and fight in the First World War. So they took him to court through in Edinburgh. And he gave this very famous address. And still sent him off to prison, where he went on hunger strike and then the usual force feeding. And as you can imagine, back at the turn of the century, it was a lot more brutal than it is today. And it kind of ruined his health, really, this imprisonment. And what he didn't know was that as he was in prison, people all over Scotland who knew about him were on the streets protesting at his imprisonment. And he was released early, but his health was broken. And at this point, his wife and his children had left. They couldn't take the pressure anymore. He had gone under such pressure from the government. And he died penniless and alone. But his funeral, even to this day, attracted the biggest crowds that Glasgow has ever seen. And so much so that it didn't go straight to the cemetery. The cortege made its way in and out of Glasgow so that as many people as possible could show their respects to this great man. And he was a great man. I'm sure had he known what was really going on in Russia, he would have been appalled, as any decent human being would have been appalled had he known. That's not me making an excuse for him, but I think you have to remember that back then communications were very limited to newspapers, articles, pamphlets, leaflets, and that's where he would get his info. I've got a great deal of admiration for this man. As I say, not because I agree with his politics, I certainly don't. But he did an awful lot of practically positive things for folk when no one else gave a damn. He helped to form many of the unions that grew in strength over the years through heavy engineering, not just in the shipyards, of course, but in the railway building and all that used to go on in Glasgow. He was very much a working class man, although he had the advantage of he'd gone to Glasgow University to become a teacher, which what he was most of his life until he became too much of a dissident. He was number one on the government's hit list for a long time back then, and they finally got him. So, and as I say, in my own opinion, that's what broke his health. Then, of course, his heart must have been broken when his wife and his children left. But they were in dire poverty. He never made a cent and never tried to make a cent from it. He lost his job, of course. That was the first thing. When he came out of prison, he had no job. And so he died with nothing, and he's got a very simple grave, which I visited. Way out the back of Beyonds in Glasgow. Very few people know about it. And I've got a copy of the only biography that was ever written on him. So I've got a lot of time for the man because of what he did. But we certainly disagree with politics, and I'm sure he would have, if he knew what we know about exactly what went on in Soviet Russia. And it's because of my admiration I wrote that song. I'm not saying it's a great song, but it's a song. So I can separate out the politics in his case because of how long ago it was. And he could see right through the propaganda about the First World War. And that's how they got him, because he was encouraging men not to go and fight. He said it was a capitalist war, which essentially it was. Germany was becoming too economically powerful for Britain. Usually, war is usually about money and destruction. We're the fodder, giving up to it. In every case, by all nations. I'll take your advice, Sensum, about the mixture, the brew. Just reading some of your comments, folks. Most wars are capitalist wars, John, says Pressure Drop. Well, that's what you try to tell the men. That's what you try to tell them. Well, of course, we know how that went. They still rushed off. Sir Thomas Lipton is telling us some historians claim that I was gay, but at the end of the day I left my immense fortune to the poor people of Glasgow. which is historically true, of course. It's the same old, same old. This devastation that's going on now is no different. Skywalker, we'll get some tunes together when I get the guitar. That'll be nice. Look forward to that. The person I'm speaking about, Fiona, is a man called John McLean, who lived, as I say, I think it was about 1922, 23 when he finally died. But he was only in his 40s. I think he was just 43, 44 at most. White hair. His hair had gone white. He was, as I say, he was an important figure at that time, and in my view. But history has ignored them because of, well, I would argue because of his politics, of course. I'm looking for a folder here. If I can find it. It'll be here somewhere. Let me have another look. That's why I like to have things prepared. You can never find them when you're live. See, I can't find it. Yeah, it's not here. I thought it was here. But it's not. It's not here. I thought it was in this folder, but it's not. Pressure drop. A mate of mine decided not to buy a second-hand car that had no radio, explaining why by saying there was no tunes. Where the hell is it? Oh, it's not in there, of course. Why would it be in there? It's got to be somewhere. Nor is it in there. Nope. Not there. Typical. When you're looking for something, you can't find it. Now, don't forget, folks, next Friday evening is the poetry stream. And so we're still looking for material from you good people. So that we can have something to present that isn't ours. I wish I could find that for you. I can't. Can't lay my hand on it at the moment. Gotta be here somewhere, I know it is. I've got so much stuff on the desktop here. That's amazing. I can't see it. No, I can't see it. No, I can't see it. Strange. So I'm sure we can bring on something else. I'm kind of idling way through this tonight, folks. So bear with me. Here's another short piece. It's called The Harbour. And here we go. Well, there you go, folks. A piece by our good friend and colleague, Sensum. That's why he was saying it was shit, because it was him that put the music together. He's at it, Amanda. It's a good piece. He always self-deprecates, does our Sensum. He'd probably forgotten that I've got this. I tell you. Anyway, I was going to show you photographs that I took at that gravestone. I can't seem to find the folder that it was in. It's just typical, that, isn't it? I think it's a good tune. Thumbs up from our Skywalker. Yeah, I think it was a good tune. Isn't that annoying? It is annoying. Why can't I find that? I know it's there someplace. Anyway, I'm still sipping on my Dark Island. Okay, doke, Amanda. You take care. Sleep well. Sleep well. Ah, there it is. Finally, I see it. Finally, I see it. So let me just show you one of the photographs that I took. So here it is. This is the man's grave. You can see it's a simple grave. Well, thank you, St. Thomas of Aquinas. So there you are. That's it. A simple gravestone for a Scottish hero. In loving memory of John Maclean, ME. 30th of November 1923 it was. 44-year-old. His sister Margaret Smith Maclean died the same year. Age 46, wife of Joseph J. Armstrong. And that's a representation of the man. Good evening, William. Look at the chemtrails dragged in. Yeah, so there you go. That's the man that I'm singing about. John Maclean. So it's a celebration of the man's life, not of the man's politics. And there is a difference. That's what, there's a march every year done by people who know of them. It gets smaller every year, the parade. But I did attend one. I didn't get the reference, Toffee. It's a die-hard reference, John. I didn't get it, to be honest. I didn't get that reference. Yippee-ki-yay. You mafiosos. Ah, right, John McClane. Right, got you now. What do you know? The name, of course, John McClane. Yeah. Thanks for helping me out. As I say, every year there is a parade of those few folk who know about his life. And they have a marching band as well, and they go back to one of the local pubs, and that's where I was able to buy this book on him. For not a lot of money, I might add. William, I used to help Tommy Sheridan with meetings about John McClane. Really? Well, that's interesting, William. There's Ludwig there. Huh? He's there. We can get the info now, folks. Ludwig's with us. Right, Ludwig, I bought the ingredients. I've got them here to show you. There's the loose tea, the ground ginger, the thyme. If you would, for my sake, type out how do I put this together. Do I make the tea first, stew it, and then add the ingredients, or do I make a tea, add the ingredients, and then stew it? And how much of the ingredients do I add? Snort. Just mix and short. Says William. Oh, snort. Well, I don't want to waste the ingredients if it's going to help me, because I'm sure it won't just be take it once and I'll be over. So if you could do that for me, Ludwig, that would be an enormous help. Right, okay. Just make a tea, add the ginger, and then fresh herbs. That's it. Boil for a few minutes, then through a sieve. Okay. I'm not going to do it tonight. I'll do it tomorrow and see how I get on with it. There's plenty of other suggestions being made. what I might try. But I'll give this a go. So just to show you that, I do listen. And I would like, well, it's the best I could do. It's meant to be fresh. Tesco's own. Well, he's not the only one that's missing. It's a duck, William. We're also missing Ian Marr. But it might be too late for him because he's up early in the morning and he does a lot of cycling with his dog. He takes his dog out for a walk. He's in the cycle. Makes the dog run, of course. As I say, I'll do it. Ludwig, I've got other suggestions. If after a few times I don't feel any improvement, I think I feel an improvement already simply by drastically reducing my cigarette input. Sir Thomas, I expect that my gravestone will be torn down someday as I employed indentured servants on my tea gardens in Ceylon. Well, that should never happen. That's for sure. That should never, ever happen. It changes nothing. A very good point, Cecil. They'd wish you'd go back now, mate, judging by all the shit show that current administration of Sri Lanka is doing. Yeah, and it is an absolute climate change farce. Yeah, they're not in a starvation situation at the moment. Well, it might be too late for Doc. Maybe it's as simple as that, William. I don't know. It's hard to say. We'll keep an eye open for him, of course. Fiona's saying peppermint is good for the lungs. I'll accept that. I don't know, but I'll take your word for it. As I said last night, I'm doing my best to cut my cigarette consumption in half. If I could get it down to a steady one packet a day, for me that'd be a huge improvement, a huge step forward. I'm not even giving any consideration to cost involved, but obviously that will help as well. Anglo's got a wee question. They're banning and buying out farms. Thoughts? Well, there's two levels of thoughts on that, isn't there, really? There's the first thought that how crazy can you get? That's the first thought. And the idea that human beings on a massive scale are going to accept the idea that we're not fit to eat in a carnivorous way, the way that we've always eaten, is completely criminal. And I would further say that on top of all that, the idea of animal genocide is completely and utterly barbaric and criminal. And anyone who suggests such a thing, and we know there are those who have already suggested this is what we do, should see the short and sudden end to their existence. Oh, you're off, Julia. Thanks for being here anyway. I appreciate that. I do. I know it's a bit late for some folk, but I wanted to make the effort anyway because it's the weekend. I'd chase them all for their lives if I had my way. These complete numbskulls and idiots that are suggesting that we should genocide livestock. And that's all for the benefit of the ruling criminal elite. Their lifestyles will not change. It's just us, the peasants. But people really need to stand together on these things and say, you're absolutely not on. We're not having it. I mean, oddly enough, I was in the butcher today, not buying butcher meat, I might add, but I had a look at the price of Pope's eye steak. My local butcher's charging £32 a pound for a piece of, for Pope's eye steak. £32. Lord Almighty. Now, I'm not saying that he's got much control of that, because obviously the wholesaler and anyone else in between. But this is just getting to Weimar Republic levels of insanity. As I think it's a very, very serious issue here. Then you've got the likes of Gates buying up all sorts of arable land that becomes available. Sensor's telling me they prevented the Sri Lankan farmers from using fertilizers, so the yield was already reduced and people starved. Next thing, riots. Who'd have thought it? Yeah, go green. Exactly. This is madness. This is just outright insanity. But we know all this feeds into that greater agenda of population control. All in the name of the Holy Grail, says William. People need to rise up against this. Show solidarity. I'm as strong as an ox and look like one too. Yep, we're back to that. But people need to stand united against it. I've given the example before, I'll give it again, so that you can use it in any discussion or argument that you find yourself in. Europeans have done this before. This is not new. The staple diet of the North American natives was the buffalo. And it was reckoned that there was over 60 million of these creatures roamed from Canada nearly into Mexico. Every year they went from north to south, settled in the Great Plains, fed, mated, reared their young, and when their young were strong and big enough, they would take themselves back northward, repeat the cycle over and over again. But the European government in Washington wanted to open up the rest of the continent, and so the buffalo had to be exterminated, and they nearly were, over a very, very short period of time, I might add. So it has been done before. It is possible to do it again. It starved the Native Americans, of course, of their natural food supply. That's why it was partially, that was why it was done. Anglo, oh, you're a butcher. The price of good produce is exorbitant. Halal and kosher doing okay though. Boils my piss, says Anglo. Well, you'll know if you're in the trade what's going on. But please remember that tragic story of what was done to the buffalo. They've never come back in numbers, despite the fact that the natives are buying them from herds, small herds that are in Canada. They're bringing them onto reservation land and encouraging them to grow in number again. But they'll never be what they once were. So this is not a daydream. It's been done, and sadly, very effectively. Long before we have the kind of weapons that we now have. Why do you think Buffalo Bill had that name? He was one of the first that actually mechanized the killing of the buffalo. He developed these long, flat wagons and mounted rifles on them. that could be fired off with by a single person. They were all connected by if you like, a bit of string, really. And then one tug would set off all the triggers, and it would speed up the process of killing, because you didn't need to aim at these critters. They were so vast in number. And then, of course, when you did fire these guns off, the animals would panic and rush off in all sorts of wild directions, killing even more through panic. The Earl is saying, I would never describe myself as a peasant, John. After all, I am a second cousin of King Charles III. I wouldn't call myself that either. That's how they see us, obviously. Again, I agree with you, William. They already control the population. Today's agenda are far more sinister. Yeah, they are. They certainly are. They won't succeed. They just won't succeed. We have God on our side. Evil never wins and never will win. And that's not quite right, Budgie. Budgie's saying I heard some tribes would kill the buffalo just for the tongue. So they weren't as animal friendly as you might think. No, 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 no. The American government offered 10 cents for every tongue from a dead buffalo that was brought into particular forts on the frontier. It was the American government that set that bounty on the animals. That's how, as I said, people like Buffalo Bill made a fortune, by mechanizing the whole thing so that many more could die. And of course, the carcasses were just left to rot. People were only interested in the 10 cents for the tongue. So that's where you're getting that idea. Now, perhaps some Indians took part in that. I have not read that myself. What I've read is that it was purely a European venture. It was to help build the railways across from east to west and west to east. At the same time, deprive these Plains Indians from their food source. But if you've read differently, that's fine. I just haven't read it myself anywhere. Not that I'm an expert. I wouldn't say I'm an expert on the subject. Oh, you're off October. Thanks for the correction, by the way. So there you go, folks. That's my thought on this farming. Any farmer that goes along with this, needs their head examined. Really do. It actually makes the Woodlanders initiative more imperative than ever. Oh, Budgie. Oh, God. I lived in Iran and was forced to eat a huge tongue. Oh. Don't know if it was a camel, but it was revolting. Yo. Oh, jeez. Just the thought. Errol's asking, why did the Americans call them buffaloes? They were actually bison. I don't know how that got started, to be honest with you. No idea. You're quite correct, of course. That's what they are, bisons. I've no doubt that in the native language, or they had a few languages, of course, they would have their own name for these creatures. But you're right, that's what they are. They're bison. Majestic looking creatures too. Pretty harmless, apparently. Some of the ancient Indian tribes were brutal from what I have read. Child sacrifice, the lot. I certainly haven't heard of that, unless you're talking about South America, William, or Mexico. I'm talking purely here about the North Americans. I haven't personally read anything about, certainly, child sacrifice. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I just haven't read about it. No, again, I'm going to assume then that you've read different literature from me. So I don't think the natives themselves used the word buffalo. Ludwig, Buffalo Bill and the Indians is a great Robert Altman film. Paul Newman starred. Didn't know that. Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it? Anglo is saying, a bit like the Asians chopping off shark fins and throwing them back in the ocean. Yeah, same as these African tribes that hunt down the white rhino and for the horn because it's got magical power or herbal power. It's the same waste. But if you want an example of more recent times, I offer up the buffalo, or if you prefer, the bison, what Europeans have already done. I have seen that myself. A man called Horse, Richard Harris, is a fascinating film about Native American tribe. Pretty brutal, great film. Yeah, but the lesson there, is it not, Ludwig? The lesson in that film is he had to earn respect. He had to earn it. He didn't get it automatically given to him. He was the lowest of the low in that particular tribe, and had to work his way up from being nothing. But you're right, it's pretty brutal in places. I don't know if I'm picking you up correct, Packer. I've eaten camel, but only the toe. Sensum. Tomorrow night, news at 8 with Sensum on his own. The Americans couldn't spell bison. I don't know where that comes from, honestly. Ah. I used to be served cow's tongue for breakfast when I was at Harrow School, says the Earl. It wasn't that bad, actually. My mother used to cook ox tongue. Oh my God, it's awful. I couldn't eat it. Oh, no. But my mother would. Apparently, it was part of the normal diet of my mother and my grandmother's generation, and no doubt my great grand as well. Bison Bill. Bison Bill doesn't have the same ring to its expression. No, it doesn't. Yeah, it just doesn't have that je ne sais quoi, does it? Well, that's what my mother used, the ox tongue. I don't know if they still sell it in butcher shops. It's not the kind of thing I'd be looking for in any shop. Yeah, it was a staple diet in the old days. As to things like cost, I have no idea. It may have been a cost thing as well. Yeah, well, there is that scene in the movie when he's, as you say, Ludwig, he's hung up by those hooks. Again, I'll take your word for it, Sensum. As I say, it's not something that I would personally be looking out for. You can definitely still get ox tongue at most supermarket deli counters. No, he's out there doing his white hunter. If I remember the storyline for a man named Worf, him and somebody's with him. He's a lorder from England, and he's out on a hunt for big game. And that's when they run into this particular tribe. You nail look. Yeah, the nipple piercing scene. Yeah. But there was always rites of passages in Native culture, Native American culture. Not all like that, of course. That's that's often how they took their name. They would go out as young boys into the wild themselves, and they'd really be looking for spiritual signs and whatnot to be a man, to become a young brave rather than a boy. And they would often derive their warrior name from that experience. Ah, sense of humor on this channel is, is quite something at times. I remember the ox tongue was served to the boys at Eton College. The Hanoverians had to put up with something cheaper. I have no idea what the cost was. I'm just making a bold assumption that if working class people ate that on a regular basis, which is what happened, cost obviously came into it. Yeah, it used to be sliced. I remember my mother doing that. I only ever tried it once as a boy. Oh gosh, no, absolutely not. Because that was another argument in the house, wasn't it? Because I wouldn't eat it. Couldn't, just couldn't, I couldn't eat it. Just couldn't do it. So there you go. And believe it or not, that's 2 hours has passed. Oh, there's MYT. Good evening, sir. Well, when I was a boy, Ludwig, the smell of bacon being cured in this town was really quite potent. And there was quite a few places in the town that did bacon curing. If you were ever to visit the town, I could show you where they used to be. The buildings are still there. Now it's all chemically produced. The sun is shining, John. MYT. I know the bacon that I buy, a human being could never cut it as thin as it's now cut. And I should know because I used to cut bacon when I was in a grocery store. Well, I don't eat as much bacon as I once did because when I cook, I grill bacon all the time. And when I see the amount of salt that comes out, and it's supposed to be smoky bacon, well, for smoky bacon, it should be properly smoked, which it isn't. And it's so thinly cut, it's getting to the point where it's almost transparent. Yeah, I like smoked bacon. It's smoky bacon when I cook it. You make it smoky, do you? Pressure drop. Remember the young ones, says MYT, with the pet pig called Bacon. Well, that's what we'll be having tomorrow night is bacon rolls. That's a Saturday night evening meal in this house. Has been for ever and a day. Crispy bacon. Very cute, Skywalker. Crispy bacon. fact, I have bacon every other day. The trouble is, if I go and buy, if I could afford to buy something like what I know as Belfast bacon, and I used to sell that, as I say, when I worked in a grocery stores a long time ago. It's still really good bacon, but it's so expensive. Hi. I've never done that since I do my bacon in the oven and can get it right, whether you want it lightly done, well done, or American style crispy bacon. MYT saying I'm moving to Uganda. It's cheap. Really? Are you really moving? You know, of course, they have just banned all forms of homosexuality in public places. You know that? It's a death sentence now, or a life imprisonment. I'll tell you that if you're serious and you don't already know. Oh yeah, now you're talking sense. I'm telling you now, you can have all the fancy food in the world, but there's now nicer than bacon, eggs, and chips. Ah, absolutely. And a couple of rounds of bread and butter. Yep, put me right in the mood for that now, sense. I'll need to go to Nan's kitchen in the town and get exactly that. No, that's right. Special K. That's what I was saying. But it's taboo in most African countries, that behaviour. Can't eat streaky bacon at all. Pressure drop. It's too fatty for me. Scottish bacon is by far the best. In Germany, all we get is what you would call streaky bacon. Too much fat, not enough bacon. Never been able to eat it. I suppose I could take a couple of slices so long as it was very crispy and the fat was crispy. I should be all right. Well, I hope so. I dearly hope so. That nothing amiss happens. And that's just as good as well. Bacon, eggs, chips, and peas. Yeah, I could live with that one as well. I just don't make these things for myself. The trouble is, folks, you see, most of the time I'm only cooking for one. I know there's two of us living in the house, but my son has got such a limited choice of foods that he can eat. I mean, he doesn't eat any kind of potato, and hasn't since he was a boy, a very young boy at that. And there's no reason for it. There's no accounting for it. He hasn't eaten chips in the house since his mum passed away. Because obviously I can't cook as well as his mum. Well, that's what I'm asking him. Does he really mean it, or is he making a joke? Maybe I should try your way, Sensor, of cooking the bacon. I haven't eaten HP since they changed the recipe. Back in the middle 70s, 1970s, they changed the recipe and the logo on the front. Didn't always look that way. I kept an original bottle. I washed it all out when it was empty, and I kept this original bottle with the original label on it because it had the original ingredients printed on it. And then they changed it, and I kept this bottle as proof of it had been changed. Don't have it anymore, of course. Lost it along the way. So yeah, it can be a nightmare in here at meal times. And so the kind of things that we've been talking about, egg, beans, and chips, and various combinations of that with bacon, just don't happen anymore. I'm just too lazy in my habits. So, but it certainly put me in the mood for it. I could get it in Nanny's Kitchen, as it's called. It's a local business, and it's that basic food stuff that they sell, fried egg rolls and slicing rolls and all that stuff. And they serve what they call a Scottish breakfast. Do you know I've never really tried that Lane Pearn sauce? Yeah, well, I mean, if you're going to Uganda, please send us a couple of photographs. Mince and Tatties, John, says MYT, now called Spagbo. Yeah. Still mince and potatoes. Or mince and tatties. My son won't eat that either. He'll eat the mince, but don't put potatoes on it. I've got to do the potatoes separately, give him his portion of the mince, Then I put the potatoes into my portion of the mince and remix it. That's the way it was traditionally served to me by my great grandmother, my grandmother, and my mother. And that's the way I can make it the other way as well, which I like. I like cream potatoes. Helen taught me how to make really great creamed potatoes. Tatties and mince, yep. Not to whack it. Used to be great with the old HP sauce. Now I don't take any sauce with it because I can't eat that. I don't like that recipe that was introduced back then in the 1970s. Angela saying Mum used to make some nice mince and tatties, yeah. It's one of these memory things, isn't it, folks? My granny was a great one, she'd be hovering over you with a frying pan, saying to you, "Would you like another fried egg? Here's another wee fried egg for you." I'm sorry I never took to the new ingredients back in the 1970s. I just never took to it. I never saw that budget. Scottish breakfast, deep fried cornflakes. That's what my sister takes on mince and potatoes. She takes tomato sauce as well as HP. How strange is that? I see, I've never tried that. Lean Perns. Pagan Tree, good evening. Still going, yeah. Well, I came on later tonight because my pal was down from Glasgow. So I didn't come on till 10:30. That's why I'm still on. But I'm going to be winding up. It's nearly 1 o'clock, folks. Deep fried cornflakes. I tell you. Lorne sausage, yeah. Sausage. Lorne. A rolling sausage. My mother used to hand us bread caked in butter, says Pressure Drop, explaining that it would soak up the fat of a Sunday breakfast. Linda's going to have eggs and beans for breakfast. On a Sunday roast, ketchup. My elder brother used to put ketchup on a Sunday roast, the heathen. Deep fried porridge. That's a good one, William. Deep fried porridge. So yes, when I have when I have bacon rolls, my rolls are with butter as well as bacon. So there you go. But look, I really appreciate all of you for coming here tonight. Thanks to the moderators too. Not that they needed to be doing anything. So I'm going to finish up now. I'm beginning to feel tired. Right, I'll see if I can get it right, and at least partially right. Dry rolls are key. Okay, so from memory, Sensum's on tomorrow night, as I understand it, by himself, because Bonnie Lad isn't going to be there. And then later on Saturday, you will have 42's live stream. Sunday, I don't know if Scott's Armour has resumed his own Sunday live streaming. I don't know if that's started up again. Oh, and of course, there's Ragnar's early in the Sunday, 7:30 or 7 o'clock. He has a live stream. And then possibly Scott's Armour on Sunday. I believe William is still streaming on a Monday. And I'll be back at my usual time on a Tuesday, 9 o'clock. No, I'm glad it worked out for you, Linda. Obviously, that worked out nicely for you. I think that's it, as far as I know. Sensum tomorrow night by himself, doing a news show. 42 later in the evening. Sunday, you've got Ragnar earlier in the evening, 7 or 7:30. And possibly, if he started up again, Scott's Armour. With or without DJ. I don't know. And William's back on Monday, as far as I know. He's still doing that. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Thanks, William. I'm Thursday next week taking to filmmaker and writer. Oh, talking to, beg your pardon, Bart Sorrell. you've got him to come on, the guy that got punched by Buzz Aldrin. Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant, William. That'll be a really good stream. That will be very interesting. Yeah, we still haven't seen head nor hair of Raymond Piper. So let us hope that there's nothing wrong in that direction. Pressure drop. Be better than talking to Buzz Aldrin. Okay, folks, I'll start up the music and say what I always say. Adios, au revoir, cheerio, and until Tuesday night, 9 o'clock. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. If you get good weather, make the best of it. There's plenty on YouTube if you want to seek it out and watch. But whatever you do, look after yourselves. And I thank you once again for being here. And thanks for the moderators. Take care, folks, and I'll get out of the way of the music.
Silently the snow falls, paints a winter scene, swiftly spreads the dark rim, hides the fading autumn green. Moonbeams brush the dark wood, conjure friendships dear to me.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Lightly now the breeze flows, disturbing more than just the leaves. But life's much more than we can know.
Enjoy your camping trip, partner.
We are one small
Well
boat
done. I'm sure the boys will
in the eternal flow. Patiently the love grows,
You have to take a couple of photographs.
lifts the weary heart. Gently now she holds me, melts two worlds once apart. Moonbeams brush the dark wood, usher dreams of you and me. Softly then the breeze blows, disturbing more than just the trees.
All together now.
But love's much more
So much more
than we can know.
than we could ever possibly do.
We are one small globe,
But a very important.
an eternal flow. Melodies of long ago, songs of innocence, harmonies to soothe the soul, past the consequence. Moonbeams brush the dark wood, awakening joys of you and me. Silently the snow falls, bringing winter symphony. but we're much more than we can know. We are one small glow in the eternal flow, but life's much more than we can know. We are one small glow in the eternal flow.
Appreciate that. I do. So, folks, take care, and I'll speak to you all soon. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Bye for now. Bye.